Alright, here we go. Hello, my name is Oz. I walked the Te Araroa trail from the season of 2022 till 2023. I walked it in 128 days, and I feel like I got so much out of watching YouTube videos about the trail, and I figured I'd make another one because why not, and everyone seems to be making them. So what will be in this video? We will talk about my gear list, we will talk about visas and stuff like that, and just general knowledge and things. Alright, let's go. Let's start with a small introductory thing. My name is Oz, I'm 22 from Israel. I haven't done any sort of through hiking thing before. I did have a lot of backcountry experience, but only in Israel and a bit abroad in Europe. So that's the background I'm coming from. I wasn't in that great of shape starting the TA. I mostly went to the gym as preparation. So the TA or Te Araroa, I'm probably butchering that, is a long distance trail from Cape Reinga to Bluff in New Zealand. It is a really nice trail. I think if you're already here, you know what the trail is about. So I wouldn't go through what is it. If you want to see more of a vlog sort of thing, I would highly recommend Elina Osborne. She has really nice things. One of the main points for me was the feeling that I got from hiking the trail is you probably shouldn't hike the whole trail. I would highly recommend just hiking the South Island, and I will tell you why. Alright, so the North Island is mostly road walking and going village to village, whereas the South Island is mountains and hut to hut hiking or campsite to campsite, depending on where you are. That causes the North Island to be times and a half more expensive than the South Island, and it's just not as nice. So with the same budget, I would highly recommend just walking the South Island and then going back afterwards and renting a car and doing a road trip for about a week or 2 weeks up on the North Island. It will save you some money and you will see more. In addition to that, the South Island is really cheap just because you're staying in the backcountry huts that are included with your dog pass that you probably should get if you're hiking the TA. And you're just spending less time in town, so you're spending less on food and hostels and all of that. It comes down really significantly. Season, if you're starting out in Cape Reinga like I did, I would highly recommend starting around mid-October to early November. I started on November 3rd and finished on March 10th. I was, I think, mediumly paced, maybe a bit faster than average, but yeah. By the way, this is the summer season in New Zealand. Just remember, Southern Hemisphere seasons are the other way around. Money things, I think I should talk about it for a bit. So in New Zealand, they don't like credit cards as much. Coming from Israel, we accept credit cards here everywhere. So they sometimes wouldn't accept credit cards, or they would take a surcharge for using PayWave and stuff like that. My tip for you is either get a really low conversion rate debit card, depending on where you're from, or cash, whichever. For me, it made sense to still use a really low conversion rate credit card and a bit of cash. You would need around $200 in cash for each island, just for Koha, for Trail Angels, and stuff like that, and paying for places that don't accept your credit card. If you're like me and pay with your credit card for everything. All right, let's talk about my favorite subject, visas. All right, so I did a working holiday visa. It's a visa that New Zealand gives to people from the age of 18 to 30, usually with some differences between nations. And it allows you to stay in New Zealand for up to a year and work legally. I would highly recommend to do that if you can. Either come to New Zealand before you walk the trail, work a bit, experience New Zealand, get acclimatized, and then hit the trail, or do as I did, which is I walked the trail and then I worked for another 4 months in New Zealand and got to experience it even better. Other than that, you can also do a tourist visa that gives you 3 months in New Zealand, which, if you listen carefully, you know it's not enough for the trail. So you can either go out of New Zealand and back in during the trail, or what you can do is apply for a visitor visa. I think that's a terminology. That gives you 6 months in New Zealand. It differs from what passport you hold. I, for example, couldn't get a visitor visa in advance. I would only be able to apply for it while in New Zealand, and I didn't want to do the paperwork while on trail, so I did a working holiday and I don't regret it. I highly recommend it. Let's talk about food in the trail. So for the TA, there are 2 types of food. You get town food and trail food. Let's start with town food. You got fish and chips and burgers basically everywhere, and that's about it. Trail food. So it's relatively easy to get things in New Zealand at a mediumly to large supermarket. I started out the trail with eating freeze-dried meals, but they're just not as good in New Zealand. I tried the American ones and the European ones that are way better. Sorry, New Zealanders. And I would highly recommend avoiding them. They're also very expensive. What I ate was usually noodles with peanut butter in them, or red split lentils with couscous. They cook easily, you just need to boil water. Highly recommend them. Weather. New Zealand is really wet. How wet? They measure it in meters and not in millimeters as they do around here. Other than that, it's not that cold in summer. I would say the lowest I got during the trail was maybe 0. Maybe. I took a -6 quilt and it was definitely way too warm. Could have gone with a -1 or the 1 level high. Navigation. So I used Far Out basically throughout the trail. You pay a bit for it, I think around 45 New Zealand dollars, and it works perfectly. Just buy it. I got nothing else to say about it. Don't use the trail app. Sorry, it's not good. All right, let's talk a bit about boxes. So most people will ship their boxes to 3 places. They will ship them to Arthur's Pass, Hanmer Springs, and Center Knot. From my experience, the only real place you should ship your box to is Arthur's Pass, and I'll explain why. When you're in Center Knot, you can hitchhike relatively easy to Nelson, which is a really big town, and then you ship your box from there, because shipping things across islands is a bit hard, and that's the first real big town you will see. So ship it to Arthur's Pass from there. Also take a day off. They have a craft beer scene there. It's a good place. Well, when you hit Hanmer Springs, they have a really big 4 square. It's a bit expensive, but I think the money I saved for not shipping a box made sense. And Arthur's Pass is the only one that I would highly recommend. Sending a box, I didn't, and I paid, I think, $200 for my shopping list, where usually I paid for that amount around 90. So, and I didn't get everything I wanted. So I would highly recommend shipping to Arthur's Pass. Trail angels. There are a lot of nice people, like in many other trails around the globe, that will host you for free or for some donation. I would highly recommend staying with them, especially in the North Island if you're walking that section, because it gives to the experience and you learn a lot about New Zealand and New Zealand culture and everything like that, and just a good experience to do that. It is highly recommended to leave them a donation. You can around $10 New Zealand dollars is a good amount. maybe a bit higher if you had a good time, maybe a bit lower if you didn't have a good time, but 10 is the standard as far as I know. And if someone knows a different thing, let me know. You can find Trail Angels in the Facebook group. You just Te Araroa Facebook Trail Angels thing. Go there, you'll find them. Other than that, you can find them in the far out comments and hearing from them from people on the trail, just by talking to people. Networking or mobile data. I started out with people telling me to buy the Spark thing when you get in the airport, right before you actually go through border control. So right before actually you enter New Zealand, because then you'll get, at least then it was, I think, under $100 for 3 months of unlimited data, which is highly recommended. But after that, I would highly recommend getting skinny and not expanding your Spark data plan, because expanding that plan will cost you another $80 a month, and skinny, at least at the time of the recording, is $40 a month for unlimited. So just get that. That's my recommendation. Side trips. So part of the fun for me in New Zealand was going around and seeing something cool around the trail and just doing a bit of a detour and seeing it. So my favorite side trips are from Hamilton in a day, just a hitch to Hobbiton, which is next to Rotorua. It's around, I think, an hour and a half drive direction, maybe less. And you can go out in the morning hitchhiking and go back the same day and keep walking, and it's really nice. And you've been to Hobbiton. In Waitomo, which the trail passes right through, go to the caves. They're really cool. They're cool. When you start the Nelson Lake section, you can go through Sunset Saddle. I haven't done that personally, and I highly regret that. I heard it is awesome. You go through that and then reconnect to the trail. It adds another day, and it's really nice as far as I know. I haven't done that personally, but I've seen the photos and it looks really. From Tekapo or Twizel, you can hitchhike to Mount Cook and do some things around the park. I would highly recommend either Mueller Hut up and down in a day, or if you feel like there is a loop there that goes across the pass, I don't remember the name of it, but it's a 3-day loop and it should be really nice. After Queenstown, you can go and do the route burn in 1 day, so by then you will be really, really quick and just walk the route burn in 1 day and then reconnect to the trail through the name is Greenstone Saddle Campsite, and then go to Greenstone Hut. And then you're back on the TA. Just have a look at it while you're there. From Tiana, go to the Milford Sound Cruise. I would highly recommend hitchhiking there and back, because taking a shuttle from Tiano and back will cost you more than the cruise itself. From Bluff, you can go to Stewart Island. It's nice. You need to like beaches. I really didn't enjoy it. I think it's a bit like the ferry is $100 a direction, and just know what you're getting into. It is nice. Random points that are not in a certain order. Hitchhiking is, I think, a must-do in the TA. First of all, because it's the way to get yourself around if you don't have a car, but also because then you get to know the New Zealanders and it's super fun. Make friends with people on the trail. They're super friendly. We're all through hikers and we're here to have a good time. Huts are nice in bad weather, and nice weather, I prefer tenting outside huts. Try and learn a bit of Maori terminology and terms. I threw some around here. I think I said koha, which is a donation. It's the thing you give to a trail angel. I'm not the person to teach you about it, but I would highly recommend learning a bit about it. I'm 22 years old, and every time there was a student discount, I got it just for asking for it. So it's technically a young people discount sort of thing. So if you're around my age, I would highly recommend trying it. It will knock you a few bucks from the total price of the trail. In the South Island, there is a shop named Further Faster. They sell shoes and hiking gear and stuff, and they do overnight shipping or really fast shipping throughout the South Island. If you sign up for their newsletter, you get a big discount for your first order. So it's a really nice way to get yourself a new pair of shoes in the South Island. I went through several of them. Right, this is the gear list section of the video. All of the things are in the lighter pack list in the description. I found that very helpful. Not everything I will say because it's boring. Other than that, I would say some things I swapped throughout the trail, so I will talk about that also. Alright, let's go. So, starting off with my pack. This is the 55-liter Sabra Gear Butterfly. It's an Israeli pack company. I love this thing. It compacts down really small and it can expand really big, and it's super comfortable, and it's pretty lightweight also. You can see also it has the TA patch, which is super cool. Trekking poles. I use two poles, Friesen Compacts. I started out with the American version, which are a bit heavier, but I broke them. So I went through two other of these. You can get them at Kathmandu, which are all over the place, and they're relatively cheap. They're super lightweight, and they go really well with my tent of choice, which is the Z-Packs Flex Solo. It is a really nice tent, super duper uber lightweight. Yeah, it's expensive, but if you can afford it, I would highly recommend it. I have this food bag thing from Hilltop Packs. It should be waterproof. It is no longer waterproof after the trail. Yeah, it's nice. It's really useful. Yeah, I would probably buy the same thing. Other than that, I had a pack liner inside of this. I just threw it away so I don't have it to show. Alright, sleeping pads. I started the trail with a Nemo Tensor long, wide sleeping pad. It is really warm, really comfortable, relatively lightweight, but it got punctured on the trail. And as you can see, it's empty in the box at the moment because I got a new one from the warranty back in New Zealand. So while this was warrantying or doing its thing, which happened around this early South Island, I think I shipped it away in Nelson, I picked up this thing, which is the Nemo Switchback, the Nemo foam pad. It's a relatively nice foam pad. I think for summer hiking, I would stick with this. Yeah, this is way more comfortable, but the foam pad is just bulletproof, basically. Quilt. I used Enlighted in the bag. Enlighted equipment quilt. It's the Revelation 20 Fahrenheit. It is really nice. I would say go for the 30 Fahrenheit version, which is -1. This is the -6 version. Go for the -1 because the TA is not that cold. I thought it would be colder. Right, tent taste. I used the MSR Groundhog Minis. For my tent, you need 10 of them. I took 11 and I lost one, so now I still have 10. I had a Polycryo ground sheet, but I lost it and I found it not that useful. So do it with that whatever you want. Pillow. I started out with the Eros UL from City Summit, but it got punctured really early on, and I swapped it for the City Summit Eros Premium or something. It is a bit smaller. I think it's relatively about the same weight. It's nice. I started out with a butt bed, but the moment I swapped for this thing, I threw it away. Right, cook pot. Trusty old Tonks titanium, 750 milliliters. Really nice pot, what can I say? Yeah, I started out with a different stove, but this is the stove I picked up on the way. It's okay. I'm not even sure. It's a Soto thing. It's nice. I could have gone lighter. A lighter, So, and the Swiss Army tiny thing. It is nice for opening packages and picking your teeth. I wouldn't go for anything bigger than that for a knife. In addition to that, I had a Ketadine Be-Free water filter with a 1 liter bag, but it got destroyed, so it's in the trash now. Also, I had just one water bottle in addition to the Ketadine, so I had a total of 2 liters capacity, and I couldn't gone lower. So, I drink a lot, but there are a lot of streams in New Zealand, so I figured it's good. We have electronics. All right. I used 2 of these Nightcore 10,000 milliamp hours batteries. They are really nice. In retrospect, the longest section is the Richmond ranges, which took me, I think, 9 days. And I think I've gone through just one of these on the way. So you could, if you're on battery saver and airplane mode and you don't use your phone that much, I just use it for podcasts on the way. It was really alright. I had some cables and the trusty old Nightcore NU25. I just bought the Type-C version, but it will get here eventually. In addition to that, if you notice, on my cable, I got this. Hold on, how do people do that? You get this thing, which goes on top, I hope you can see. And then you got a micro USB. Don't follow me. You got micro USB, very useful for charging your only micro USB device, which is the Nightcore 25. I also had a cable for my watch, and in addition to that, a wall charger. It's here somewhere. Got a wall charger. This is a definite overkill. It's a 65 watt version Type-C, got 2 ports, but it charged all my devices very quickly. I picked it up in Auckland the moment I landed. Headphones, for my headphones, I had a Sony WF-1000 Mark IV. What a mouthful. They're alright. They're not that waterproof. In retrospect, I would go with something more gym-like for a trail. Just so they will hold in your ears better when you're moving. I had my trusty old Garmin InReach Mini 2 and had my watch, which is the Instinct Solar 2 from Garmin also. Love the watch, love the InReach. Would definitely, the InReach is a must-have or a PLB. The watch is also very nice for tracking your hike, and it also has a feature which connects it to the InReach, and then it's a controller, and if you slip and you don't respond within 15 seconds, it presses the SOS button for you. So I would highly recommend considering a Garmin watch. And this thing lasted me tracking, I think 3 days of tracking. Or if I wouldn't track, it lasted 20 days. So it's good. Phone, I used my phone here. This is the Google Pixel 6. I used it with a D-brand grip case. And I can say after 3,000 kilometers, the phone is perfectly new. So I would highly recommend the case. I had my first aid kit. I wouldn't go through what's inside, but if you want, you can check out the lighter pack list. It's everything there. I had my pair of sunglasses. This is not the same sunglasses because I lost them. I had my cap. I had my cap from MacPack. Nice cap, what can you say? For a shirt, I hiked most of the time, 100% of the time with this thing. This is the Savra Gear Technical Sun Hoodie from the same company that makes the pack. Really nice thing. It has the vents on the side and it has a hole for the watch and a zipper and super duper nice. Would highly recommend. At the moment it's a bit stinky because I wasn't able to make it clean. It has been through quite some things. From warm layers, I had the Mountain Hardware Ghost Whisper something. It is a nice puffer. I ripped it on the back, but yeah, probably could have gone with a cheaper one, but it's really good. I had a beanie. It's nice, good beanie. It's not the same one. I lost the one that I used with rain jacket. I used the Outdoor Research Helium. It doesn't hold up for New Zealand. I would highly recommend getting something better. I'm not sure what, but yeah, I got wet with this thing. Socks. I started out with 2 pairs of Darn Tough socks. Do note that in New Zealand they don't have Darn Tough, so yeah, you would either have to switch to Smart Wool, which is basically the same thing, or you can get from MacPack or Icebreaker. Also merino wool socks, highly recommended. Pants. Alright, so I hiked with a pair of shorts. I started out with something from Kathmandu, which was really nice, and moved along the way because they ripped several times. But basically I hiked the whole hike with shorts. In addition to that, in my pack, I had a pair of long pants from Patagonia. It's the Patagonia Quandary. They're really nice, but I would say you probably don't need them because the only time I wore them was while my shorts were in the wash and I could go on with a towel around my hips or something in the meanwhile. I had this pair of Mayfly cardboard sandals. They look hideous. I think I would recommend them. I'm not really sure if I recommend them or not. They're an interesting experience. They lasted through a whole trail, and yeah, I'm not sure. I use them for like hiking around, going to the showers in hostels, but I would say it's more comfortable to walk barefoot than these. So, not really sure. Alright, I have this shirt for laundry time and slipping in and like whenever I didn't want to wear this thing. Yeah, this is a merino wool Smart Wool shirt. Really nice, I love it. So comfy. Shoes. I started off with the Ultra Lone Peak 6, and after 2 pairs I felt like I'm done with these because they broke really quickly. And I moved to Topos, which are available in New Zealand. They are really nice. I like the Topos. If you're into ultras but don't like the durability, check out Topos. Trowel for digging up your poop, highly important. And earplugs. Now let's talk about things that I bought on the way, the things that I feel like if you're going through New Zealand, you might as well know what are the things you can get in stores that are good. So I got my cap, which is okay. Trekking poles, really nice in Kathmandu. I think these ones are 120 New Zealand dollars, which is really quite good price for a pair of really light trekking poles that you can find basically everywhere around New Zealand. In addition to that, I have this thing. This is the MacPack Nitro. It's an Alpha Direct fleece hoodie, and it's super lightweight and it's super comfy. I picked it up in Wanaka because it got really cold, and I haven't looked back since. This thing with a puffer, oh, so warm. So go for it. Yeah. All right. Now we'll go over the camera thing. If you're not into camera or you're not interested, just skip this part. So for throughout the hike, I used Sony A7C with its kit lens. I believe it's a 28-60 millimeter lens. That's the only thing I used. Really like it. It's super lightweight and the photos come out great, as you could probably see. In addition to carry it, I used the Peak Design clip. Show you this thing, the thing that everyone uses. Really nice. What else? I used one battery. I only carried one battery for the camera, and it was plenty. I didn't take any video, so I think that's about it. Let's move on to the next section. Sum it up. Do your research. This video is definitely not your last stop on researching for the TA. The more you learn, the easier the trail will be for you, because you'll not have to do a lot of things. In addition, don't plan ahead too much. I only planned for the first week, and then after that I just went with it. Have fun. What else can I say?